right, close up to 7 o'clock, I'll call the meeting to order. Let the minutes reflect all the board members are present. And we'll start number 2, election of board officers. And before we get started, I've got one question for our treasurer. After all the bonding and everything went through last year, Jim, are you willing to stay on as treasurer?
Yes, I would like, and I wanted to, if you'd recognize me, I'd like to make a two-part motion that has to do with that one part.
So you're gonna,
I'll make a motion.
okay, go ahead.
The first part of my motion is, I would like to nominate our current chairman, Dean Moberg.
That's out of order.
Huh?
That's gotta be out of order, we're only taking these one at a time.
He has the floor right now.
I
Go
said a
ahead.
two-part motion. I can make a two-part motion.
Go ahead. Make your motion, then we'll discuss it.
Okay. I'd like to nominate Dean, our current chairman, Dean Moberg, as a candidate for re-election for in the same position for year 2014. And as a part of that part, I'd like to nominate Jeff Flint, our current vice chairman, as a nominee for re-election in that position for 2014.
About 50.
And the second part of my motion is I would like to offer my name as a nominee for the treasurer to continue if re-elected for year 2015.
Okay, so you agree to stay on as treasurer.
Yes.
Charlie has a point. If you have a motion to make on
I do.
one item, go ahead. Cut it down.
Okay. I would like to nominate Dean Moberg, our current chairman, to continue as the chairman for the year 2015.
Okay, motion. We have a second.
Second.
Motion and second. Terry, whenever you're ready.
Charlie Shoemaker,
No.
Jeff Clem,
I'll abstain.
Jim Westmoreland,
Yes.
Lisa Snodgrass,
Yes.
Dean Moberg.
Yes. Vice chair, nominations.
I'll nominate Jeff Flint, but I'd like to make a statement. If you will allow him to make a statement, if you did.
Let's
We can
get
do that
our
during
second
discussion.
first. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Okay, discussion.
I just don't like what just happened to begin with. When you ask for a position to be open, that is the position. Then we should go to the next, then to the next. And I had a conversation with you earlier. And my thing was, you've been on this as chairman, I've been on it for 3 years. You've been chairman. And Jeff has been vice chairman. And I think it would have been his turn. And as you well know, you had somewhat of an agreement to that happened, and that agreement went out to Linda. But that being said, I made my statement, I did kind of,
Okay, motion and second. Terry?
Charlie Shoemaker,
yes,
Jeff Clem,
I'll abstain.
Jim Westmoreland,
Yes.
Lisa Snodgrass,
Yes.
Dean Moberg.
Yes. Board treasurer. Motion.
I'll restate my motion on my behalf, that I will, I'm willing to offer my name up as a nominee for re-election as treasurer for 2015.
Consider we need an official motion, he can't make it. I move that we put Jim Westmoreland in as treasurer for 2015.
Okay. We have a motion
I'll second.
and a second.
Charlie Schumaker,
Yes.
Jeff Clem,
Yes.
Jim Westmoreland,
Yes.
Lisa Snodgrass.
Yes.
Dean Milburn.
Yes. All right, swearing in of officers for 2015. We do it all at once, or?
I guess we can because it looks like the same,
Just position.
positions, so I guess all three stand up, raise your right hand.
I think that's the way we did it.
I think so.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States
that I will uphold the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
And the Constitution of the State of Kansas.
and faithfully discharge the duties
and faithfully discharge the duties
of this board,
of this board.
chairman, vice chairman,
Second
treasurer,
treasurer.
so help me God.
So,
Yeah.
Thank you, Jared. Okay, moving on to the consent calendar. Anything to be added, corrected to the minutes, deleted?
I got one item, and since Mrs. Reddy is here, maybe, I don't remember her saying that she did not accept the apology. I thought she said she didn't expect the apology. Now, that's just what I heard. We need to clarify that.
In the minutes here?
Yeah, it's, the sentence says, Roberta Reddy stated that the Times misquoted her and she did not accept an apology from, is that what the Times said?
That is a correct statement.
Oh, okay, so they did, so you told them they misquoted her? Okay.
And I
Well, I
told
guess
this
it's all
board
right.
the same thing.
Huh?
And I told this board the same thing.
Yeah, I know, that's what, I heard that you said you didn't expect an apology. Maybe I misunderstood what you said. You said accept instead of expect. Okay, I'm okay with that.
Okay, minutes are okay then?
Yeah.
Okay, Charlie?
And where it said Dean Malberg said it was good to see so many visitors to the meeting, he didn't see, he read a statement by the board concerning Mrs. Reddy's complaint. It has been included in the minutes, and I didn't see it nowhere.
Yeah, it should be added to that. That's a good point.
It's within the book, isn't it?
But,
It's in the book,
I know,
in the minutes.
but it said it was included in this, and it's not there, I just made that statement, so, you know, it said it was, but it's not.
We have this
It's in
Reddy's,
last, it's in last month's.
complaint in the minutes and my statement in the minutes. Okay,
Okay.
it's all matter of record.
That's all right.
And your statement was what? Oh, that it had been appropriately taken care of?
That we took the complaint serious, that we investigated, and that the board took appropriate action as we saw fit, or something like that.
Yeah.
I just, out of curiosity, I have a question, I guess, on that. And nothing against Rick, but you have other officers in Leavenworth and Wyandotte, Lawrence. They do something like this, and their so-called punishment is public knowledge. Why is this not so transparent?
The board took the complaint, we had it investigated, talked about it in executive action when we brought the chief in instead of open meeting. It was the consensus of the board to reprimand and take action as we saw fit in executive session.
Mhm.
So that's, and according to our KSAs, none of us can divulge what goes on in an executive session.
Well, I was just asking because I
I know
know,
the paper was hungry for it too, but it did happen in executive session, and we can't talk about, except that it was taken care of.
I know a lot of people thought, I knew what you read the same paper I did, I was told the same thing.
Well, there's
It's
6 of
up
us
to
right
them.
here that know what happened, that's it.
Well, and that's fine. And, you know, that's fine.
Okay. All right, thanks for the clarification. Again, are we good on the consent calendar? Motion to accept?
I move. Second.
Charlie Shoemaker,
Yes.
Jeff Clem,
Yes.
Jim Westmoreland,
Yes.
Lisa Snodgrass.
Yes.
Dean Milburn.
Yes. Now, anyone in the audience have anything to say?
As being High Prairie's newly elected township clerk,
And congratulations.
thanks. And can I be put on your email list and have Bill Clark taken off to take his place?
Absolutely. Not a problem with it, Rick.
Give me your email address and we'll get it to you.
My husband just changed my email. I'll get it
Get it
to
to
you.
me, yeah.
I'll get it to you.
Yeah, get it to me.
But I called her downstairs and I said, what's my email address? And she changed it.
Okay, we'll get you added to the list. Chief's report.
Station 2 progress. This is the, last month we ended off with the laying of block. We did that on December 6th, I believe it was. And then we had a meeting on the 8th. So this started Monday morning, basically the day of the meeting. I started putting up steel.
That's just the extension of the building, or?
Yes, yes. Feel like it's one of those guys, they've got the steel off the outside of the building there, we saved. Art?
Yes.
There you go.
Backward? All right, we're going backwards. That's a training room looks like, so hopefully it's gonna get cleaned up here. Another picture of the training room. Mark paint the ceiling pink, which dries white. That's the living room all sheetrocked. Jeff's got the ship and sheetrock, just about all done.
The sliding doors are new and you have a patio out back.
Yes. Yep. That's where the kitchen's gonna be, kitchen area. This is out in Bay, block wall's gone, that's doors and cabinets being finished. Was out there Saturday finishing doors and cabinets. Notice the bay's all completely done, like I say, we're going backwards now, so sorry about that for some reason. Cabinets and door, trim work being finished. That room back there in the back is the maintenance room, the storeroom, air compressor, washer and dryer. Clean bay, it's full of game stuff. That's the compressor room. Picture of earlier sheetrock work. Office again. Just the outside area being cleaned up, most of the metal's gone. There's the outside's completely finished. Half the block wall's still inside. It's gone. That was a very cold Tuesday. They took down the outside wall. They had the top, the front and back done. We started early in the morning. Doc took the metal off the wall, and just basically took that west wall and just bumped it out so we didn't have to rebuy all the steel. So all the steel in that west wall was just moved. So we didn't have to buy any more steel. Again, like I say, it was really chilly. The sheetrock just getting started. Block just getting started. Questions?
When's the completion date?
We're looking to be done with the living quarters by the 1st of February and the work in the bay itself will go on through March and April, like the bay heaters. I'm not even gonna try and move that bay heater until it warms up, because that's gonna be about a 3-day process. All the gas in it's gonna have to be shut off. I gotta rerun all the gas line and everything, so, that'll be a March process, but the living board will be by February 1.
And are we waiting for completion for the hiring board, or do we have a board date set up?
No, we've got a board date set up. Interviews are the 26th, and then we will have recommendations to you guys by the 7th.
Okay. So by the time we're ready to hire, it'll be ready for
Yeah,
occupancy.
if we have to bump it back a little bit, we'll bump it back, but I think we're gonna be pretty close to being ready.
Okay, good.
Are you confident that all the concrete work's gonna hold up, being poured and all this? It's extremely cold,
They were
right?
gonna pour the concrete Friday, and we held them off, and he's gonna hold off now for a couple of weeks. What left on the concrete work is not yet.
So can we assume that if the contractor agrees, it goes ahead and pours, and it starts scalding and all that later on, he'll replace it?
Yeah, and that's why we're not letting him go.
Good.
And all that walls are up now, so,
It's completely closed in.
correct, that's what I'm saying. So now, with it being closed in, if you pour concrete inside anyway, it would be.
Well, all the concrete's done inside. The only thing left to pour is the apron outside.
Correct.
And they've got it all dug out, and they dug it out real quick and thought it was gonna sneak in there last week before it got cold, and
Okay.
they didn't make it. So I told them today, I said, you know, 2 weeks from now is gonna be fine, and it'll be good.
And for the record, I think you should say that you did have a house fire out there while you were doing that.
We've had several fires out there while I've been out there. I've run 2 house fires.
Really?
Wow.
The one when you was out there that one day, and then we had one later on, about a week later.
How many house fires did High Prairie have last year?
Well, it wasn't in High Prairie, these were.
Are we back up and
Oh, that's on
Yeah,
the
I
other
don't know,
side.
well, I'll have to go back and, I
Right.
haven't got, we just got the report.
Was that Easton?
No, that was Alexandria, both of them were Alexandria, just right on the other side of our border.
But you could see the smoke from the
So you
station.
can see the cell phone station.
Okay, good deal.
Rick,
Yes.
how much do we allot, how much did High Prairie give you for that 121?
105 total, our portion was gonna be about 21,000, and then Brunson was 75, or whatever the rest of it is.
Your part, what do you mean?
The portion that we're doing, the interior finish work, was $21,000. We're doing all the firemen are doing all the interior finish work.
That's
Oh,
mainly the
All
materials.
the sheetrock work, all the painting you saw inside,
Yeah.
we're doing all that work.
Have we used all those funds up?
No, we're right at $14,000 right now.
I was thinking when we okayed 121,000.
It was 120 something, I don't remember exactly, but
Yeah,
that was Brunson's total too. That's their part of building the building, and pouring concrete and everything.
Right, and does that include your sheet rock and everything too? So that, okay, all right. So are we under budget?
Right now, we are, yeah.
10%, 15, 20?
Well, we're not done yet, like I say,
Right.
as of today, we are $14,000 and $14,006 as of today. And that's, the tiles bought, the cabinets are bought, most of the light fixtures are bought. We still gotta buy carpets yet, appliances, I've been talking with High Prairie about buying appliances. So they're
High
gonna
Prairie.
meet, I've talked with Kathy Williams with High Prairie, and she's a member of a buyers club, so if High Prairie decides to buy appliances, then we can go through her buyers club and buy the appliances. We're gonna be under budget, I think, by that much. So, but we'll discuss that with High Prairie at their meeting on the 28th.
When we scheduled the build out, wouldn't that have been included in the build out?
We'd have thought so, yeah. But again, I'm gonna talk with High Prairie.
As well as the sleeping quarters?
The furniture was never discussed, so if we're far enough under budget again, I will approach High Prairie at their meeting saying, hey, we talked about, we're gonna do 21,000, we're at X amount of dollars now. So, and it's gonna be up to High Prairie, just, that's why I suggest,
Within the
let's get the
21,000.
furniture bought. And if we're under the budget, then maybe High Prairie will, go for it, maybe they won't, I don't know, I can't speak for High Prairie.
I just don't ever remember anything being said about appliances or, I mean, you would think, assume that would happen,
Yeah,
Because
appliances
you
was
finish
an assumption,
right?
but the bedding furniture is not, like, say, if we come in far enough under budget, I would hope, you know, we can approach High Prairie, and again, that's you guys' decision, not mine,
Yeah.
so.
So what
So
you're
we're gonna
saying
use,
is,
we're gonna use the microwave and the refrigerator up there, is it good enough to use or not? Waiting to do?
No, we're gonna get newer ones if we can. The refrigerator in front, we try to keep out there because the sheriff deputies come in and use it quite a bit, and we really don't want them traipsing back and forth, so we'll get a second one just like we got here.
Oh,
We're gonna try and set it up the exact same as we've got set up down here.
Rick, in the labor, for the work you've done and the drywall that Jeff's mainly done, that the fire district, and I won't say paid for it because it was on, you were out there while on duty,
Right.
so there was no labor.
No. Like last week, we had 6-man days, worked out there, I worked 2, Tony worked 2, Jeff worked 1, and Mark worked 1.
Okay, great.
So we're going on our shift days, we're keeping guys manned here, and we're sending guys out there. Mark was out there today painting. So I'll be out there tomorrow, Jeff will be out there Wednesday. So, about the only time we have 2 guys out there is on Saturday, and we got guys in here.
I would think that would help keep it under budget.
Oh, yeah.
Big
it's-
time.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Anything else? Chief report? All right, let's move on to items for action. Furniture, while we're on the subject, agenda item 6A.
that's the question I had. So what you're saying is, you're trying to put this $3,800 within the 121, or whatever it is, total, or not?
No, the furniture was never part of the equation. We need furniture. I say, if I can approach High Prairie Board and say, and at the end of the month, say we're pretty much done, and we're, say, at $18,000, we got $3,000 or $4,000 left over.
That's what
I'm gonna approach High Prairie Board and say, hey, we're here, will you? And it's gonna be up to those 3 folks to say whether they will or not. But we do need the
Shouldn't
furniture.
we wait on that first?
Well, it's a 6-week delay time to get this stuff done, so we gotta get it done. Either you guys are gonna have to buy it, they're gonna buy it, somebody's gotta buy it, because the guys don't have someplace to sleep. So the bill won't be here till, for 6 weeks, so when the bill comes, it's just who's not gonna get it to. But we gotta have the furniture.
And that's what I was going at, so there's a possibility, we're gonna go ahead, I guess, and make a motion to purchase this.
Yes.
Then in the process of us approving it, the 28th, you're going out there and ask them if they would
Pay for it.
pay for it. Okay, I just trying to.
I'm gonna try. They've got 2 answers, they can say yes or no,
Well,
and I have no idea which way they're gonna go.
I guess what I was thinking is that they already know that we spent $3,800, I can tell you what I tell you.
Well, like I said, I mean, it's a 6-week lead time on this stuff, so if we wait until the end of the month.
I understand, but if they
How
understand,
would we have missed not having furniture in the discussion?
appliances and furniture was never in the discussion.
I'm
just
just,
the building.
how would we approved manning a station, they approved building the addition,
They approved building the building, and that was what they approved.
It seems like to me we ought to kick in a little bit ourselves. I mean,
we're
I
kicking
don't
in
see any
2
problem
bodies
with
and trucks.
passing a motion tonight to go ahead and approve, spend $3,800 for the furniture. I mean, we're taking the excess of 20-something thousand out of our,
We're saving a huge amount of money by Rick's team doing the labor.
I know, yeah.
And we're saving, and we're putting firemen in that spot. We've put an extra equipment in that spot. I think we've done our fair share.
But theoretically, we could go ahead, approve it tonight, see what High Prairie says. If there's a problem, and we decide we're not quite comfortable, we could cancel the order.
Okay, I like that.
I mean, I guess
I
it's
agree
not.
with you. I think that's a good point.
And then High Prairie would have a nice
Well, we
new
probably can't
station.
cancel, we probably have a penalty if they're making it for us. You know what I'm saying? But I think I like your thought anyway.
Or maybe putting 50% down and seeing what they'll do.
Yeah.
I have a question. When are we actually going to man this station number 2?
We're looking
Well-
at mid-February.
Oh, mid-February? Oh, and you said it would take 6 weeks to get the
Yeah.
appliances?
So we're
No,
voting
no,
on
this furniture.
Furniture.
Oh, the beds
Yes.
and mattresses?
Yeah, the appliances, if you guys vote to approve it on the 28th, we can go out the 29th and get them.
Now, is this gonna be for the mattresses?
No,
the
this
bedding?
is refrigerator, stove, microwave.
But don't we need bedding,
That's
And we
what,
need
that's what we're
furniture?
talking about here.
and we need appliances?
Yes.
That's different. The thing you're talking about, appliances, is one thing, that's a separate deal underneath, I think. I've heard. The bedroom furniture and all that is a line item, we'll call it, and that's this, which you don't have, which says bed, wardrobe, recliner, mattresses, platform, the price of the shipping, and that's what totals $3,800.
And,
It's a separate,
who's on tonight? You guys? If you don't mind, after the meeting, if you show Mr. Reddy the setup here, that's why we have two refrigerator. That's total
Oh, I
separate.
understand that.
But you can see the beds, they're heavy-duty beds.
Yeah, it's good.
These guys, I mean, it's good, solid furniture.
Yeah.
But you've got the furniture and the appliances, so two different things we're talking about here. But right now, we're just talking about the furniture. You go
So
ahead
the
and get it.
$3,800 you're talking about is for the furniture.
Furniture.
On the 28th, you're gonna go ask us for $3,800 for appliances.
Well, no, on the 28th, I'm gonna ask you guys for appliances. And I'm gonna ask you guys if you will reimburse us for the $3,800. I'm gonna hit you twice. If we've got money left under that $21,000, if we're under that 400 budget, I'm gonna ask you for that, up to that 21,000.
Submit your savings document to them as well for your labor.
And Rick, you'll have a copy of this form, right? They itemized what he's talking about tonight.
Good.
We just want to get the order in, so
Yeah.
any other discussion from the board?
I think we're confused. I mean,
Okay, do we have a motion to accept the $3,800 request for furnishings at Station 2?
I move we accept the $3,800 for Station 2, to go ahead and purchase and get that ordered, with also the chief bringing that up at the High Prairie Township meeting to get that paid for.
and I'll second that.
Okay, motion and second.
Charlie Shoemaker,
Yes.
Jeff Clem,
Yes.
Jim Westmoreland,
Yes.
Lisa Snodgrass,
Yes.
Dean Milburn.
Yes. Purchase of turnout gear, item 6B.
Okay, this is the, I believe it's our third year of a 5-year contract with Conrad. We did a contract with them 5 years ago. $7,073.12 for turnout gear for 4 guys. This is within the scope of that bid process.
Can you remind us what it was, so I assume it's an increase?
Yeah, it's like we've taken a 5% increase in the 3 years we've started this. So it's like first year was percent, this year, last year was like 1.5%, this year's 1.5%. So
Okay.
it's,
What was the total that we might increase over 5 years? Was that written in the contract?
yeah, it was in,
Remember, Jeff?
no,
I
it
thought
was,
it was
it wasn't a
10%.
total, but it was a,
Percent?
agreed upon amount, but it was reasonable and like say, within 1.5% or 5% for 3 years is pretty
Well, I
normal.
remember at the time, it seemed like we were locking in a price for 5 years.
No.
No,
No, but I mean,
With
pretty
an
good.
increase, yeah.
It was a
Some-
great price with a
Like a
percent
3 or
increase
4%
each year.
every
Right.
Yeah,
And
this,
we're-
yeah.
Yeah, we're under that, so.
Yeah, good.
And it
Okay.
takes 5 months to get
I'll
this
make a
stuff, so that's
motion
why we
that
always
we-
order in January.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and approve the request for that with the amount of $7,073.12 with the variations.
That is the total, Rick?
Yeah.
$7,073.12?
Yeah.
The 4 sets?
Yeah.
Okay.
Second?
Charlie Shoemaker,
Yes.
Jeff Clem,
Yes.
Jim Westmoreland,
Yes.
Lisa Snodgrass,
Yes.
Dean Milburn.
Yes. Furnace bid, we had bids that came in, sealed bids, which were open as per the criteria. You see them before you. We do have a heating and cooling person on board here. I asked you to look over each one. Charlie, why don't you give us a little clarification on what you see?
Well, what you're reading, so you don't get confused, Denny did have a little bit more complete, but I did talk to the chief for the meeting tonight to verify what's technically not on here. With that being said, I like bid number 2, which is Earl Bryant Enterprises and Baser for $6,378. Now, this does not, and this is just for the furnace and the A-coil and taking out the gas and putting it back and hooking up to the ductwork that's already existing. It does not have the outside condenser unit at all. So later, because I don't know when the furnace was put in, if it was put in at the same time the condenser unit was, and they usually do, that right now we're concerned with this, but we might have to come back and spend another $4,000 or $5,000 on an AC unit out there. I wish it would have been, Rick, a total bid, because, and what I mean by total bid, the outside unit too, because it's just as old as the unit we're placing inside, and that's what I was saying. So
What is a coil?
the A-coil is in your furnace.
That's in the furnace.
Right, and what it does is when your furnace, the heat exchanger makes your heat, and then when you flip your thermostat, your A-coil then becomes the air conditioning, and it blows cold air through there, and then your blower blows the cold air out, and the A-coil would actually make your air conditioning.
How important are these?
Well, the reason I asked was,
that you see there?
These warranties are pretty good. Again, I talked to Rick before this, it's not what they say, it's what they don't tell you. They're talking about the heat exchanger, and the labor, and the coil, which is the A-coil. But that, if something goes wrong with because all these now are digital, I don't care where you get them, they're all digital now. And there's no way you can protect yourself from knowing. And you look at whether it's a York or whether it's a Train or something else. They're all digital. And you take a chance that after 90 days, labor goes out, or whatever, he's saying 5 years, that we could still end up having to replace something that's not covered underneath the warranty.
Okay, so Train is a good brand,
Yeah, Train, there's nothing wrong with Train.
but when I look at the next one, heat exchanger, 20-year warranty versus 2 10s.
Right,
That's
and-
seems advantageous to me.
Right.
And then 10 years across the board, but then the coil, double the time on it too.
That's what they had pretty much, I have.
5 years worth of extra labor?
And 5, and,
Right,
yeah, 3 years extra on the
Yeah.
labor too.
Yeah.
right.
Like I say, it's a little more money, but I think, to me, it just looks like you get more for a buck.
well, that was the one I liked. And I mean, I'm a neophyte on there, but I sort of like the warranties as stated here. I mean, there's, like Charlie said, there's probably a lot of things that I covered, but I like the Brian Baser bid. I like the way he wrote up his response to the bid too. I thought.
I've never heard of a good one. Is that?
It's crossbreed of somebody making it in,
Is it worth double the money?
hell,
Okay.
We have a motion then?
We have a motion then to accept one of these bids.
I'll make the motion that we go with the bid of $6,378 with Earl Bryan Industries.
Second?
Motion and second.
Oh, God, I understood it.
Good job, Charlie.
Charlie Schumaker,
Yes,
Jeff Clamp,
Yes.
Jim Westmoreland,
Yes.
Lisa Snodgrass,
Yes.
Dean Mober.
Yes. Item 6D, the gap waiver.
This
Something we
is
do.
an every year housekeeping.
Everyone knows about this, correct?
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Motion to accept resolution number 2015-1.
I'll make
Okay, we have a motion.
I move that we accept our statement on resolution number 2015-1 dealing with the handling of financial statements and financial report.
Okay,
Second?
Terry?
Charlie Schumacher,
Yes,
Jeff Clem,
Yes.
Jim Westmoreland,
Yes.
Lisa Snodgrass.
Yes.
Dean Mosher.
Yes. Okay. Items for discussion, as in our bylaws, they are to be reviewed every 2 years. And if anyone has an old copy, which I do, the ones that were sent out is the latest revision, which, if you look in the back, was actually 2010,
2012.
12?
Yeah, 10/8 of 12.
Okay. All right. Ran through those again. Other comments, questions? Any changes you see glaring that we need to address? And this is discussion tonight.
So,
All right. Go ahead.
Jeff?
so if we were to have a discussion or add in kind of term limits on positions, is that where we would put this in something like this in a bylaw, or is that going
here we go.
I would say bylaws, yes. Mhm. Which is an item that we could look at with multiple discussions that have gone on recently. If you look at, well, as you see, the number one is easy, it talks about the vote, notification going out, the positions, sworn in, duties,
number 3 probably?
chairman. So probably, and as you see, the only regulation we have is that the chair and vice chair can't be from the same authority,
All right.
appointing authority. At this time, it's been discussed that maybe we hold our positions for a definite amount of time period. So, that being said, I'd open for discussion.
On page 3, and item number 7, if I ever read this, I didn't remember it. And apparently, we were supposed to vote on, item D says the treasurer's bond by board resolution shall be voted on at the January meeting every year. The formula for determining the bond will be 1/2 of the year's total budget plus any more. Well, I think we pretty well set with all that went on last year, we pretty well set the amount of it. But, have we been doing that?
No.
We should, then, making sure it's adequate, that we're adequately covered. So I would say, just like it says, at our meeting, when we do our officers, we should take a look at that too and make sure the bond is, the board feels adequate for protection of the fire district. And we're at 25,000? Where are we at right now? The bond. What's the bond?
I don't remember right now.
I'm just glad it was signed.
Yeah,
We have a bond, I know.
we have a bond, yeah.
Yeah, we just paid it
I can't
last
remember.
month. We
I
just
think
paid
it was
last
more than
month.
adequate.
Yes.
I believe it was. With all that being said,
Yes.
especially on the treasurer's behalf, I'll go ahead, because we're supposed to do it, I'll make a motion that we renew the bond with the treasurer at the amount we have, and later on if we see it's insufficient.
I don't think we can do that now.
Why?
Well-
It says we are,
You can't.
it's our bylaw.
I think,
You can add.
Well, and it's, in the bylaws,
when we had to, no, I understand that we can vote on, I don't think in
Just
our meeting right
meeting-wise.
now, we can't do it right now. We should have adjusted our,
you're right, but the
And-
bylaw says, yeah.
Yeah, but Jeff's right that and you look at the whole perspective, if we have a member in Fire District One that wants to know why we have a $150,000 bond, I think we have to publicize that in our minutes, that next meeting, we could approve a adequate bond, whatever that amount is, and that way that'll be published.
Got no problem with it.
I don't either, I'm just saying, to follow our procedure correctly. I think Jeff's right.
But, yeah, the procedure, right, the bylaw says we post.
It would be our first time in 5 years.
I understand, See, it's how we get into.
bylaws, you learn new things.
There you go,
You go back to
exactly.
number 3 on what you brought.
Yeah.
Is that okay with you, Jim? We'll put it in our meeting next time and
Yeah.
approve it,
Yeah.
the amount, that way we'll have a number to look at.
So when you send out, can you send out the details on that? Who has, somebody's got details on it.
Yeah, I got it back.
All right. So just to review
Yeah,
it.
we just paid it last month.
Okay.
Okay, good. Back to number 3. Term limits, I guess is what we're looking at.
Probably not, maybe it's term limits that just consecutive to where if somebody's on the board for 10 years and they're 2 years they're in the spot and they take a hiatus for a year, there's no reason they can't become that again a year later. Just something where it's just a consecutive run is kind of where.
So something I would recommend, especially the treasurer, but also with the chair and vice chair, that, say we set a term, I'll say limit, that in the last year of that term, someone should be being prepped for that position. Jim, like, somebody should be working with you now if you were gonna turn over treasurer, not for 15, but for 16. Just the same with the chair, vice chair positions.
Understood.
So, again, this is for discussion right now, so kind of kick that around, that we have kind of a mentor program. Number one, looking at term limit, but also in that last year, or 6 months, whatever you guys think, I don't care.
Well, I think it's just like, and I think I know where you, but it's like the president, you know, you're 2 terms and you gotta get out, like the governor. The state of Kansas puts a limit on the governor, of how many times you can run and be in that office. And that's basically what he's saying is, you can be on the board, but, and however you guys want to write it, but say you can serve no more than 2 consecutive years. Then you'd have to take that hiatus, and then you can come back again and serve another 2 years.
Then I don't know if 2's right.
I
was
just
throwing
use that
out
as a
a
figure.
discussion.
I just use that as a figure.
Well, how about we make some notes here? Number 3, good one, I think
Couple options. to
we've
talk
got some
about.
things to talk about there, discuss before our next meeting, we can make an item for action. Number, where were you, 7, for sure is on for an item for action next time.
Right?
Number 9, I think is pretty clear
Number
cut,
3,
with
7,
specific
everything
duties.
else is, I think.
Okay, when we get to, I got something for 11, but you guys let me know when you're up there.
Yeah.
Dean, do you guys follow parliamentary procedures?
Pardon?
Do you guys follow parliamentary procedures?
For the most part, but we're regulated by the Kansas open meeting statutes, the KSAs.
Yeah. The big parliamentaries, there's 2 or 3 term thing.
And the nice thing, it's a situation like this, the board, as in the first couple there, can make it whatever it wants.
Right, we're not going by Demeter's manual or
Roberts.
We're not going by Robert's rules.
Robert's rule or
Right.
Demeter's manual. No, no.
A good point.
Dean, I got a comment on number 12.
Ooh, wait.
He's on 11.
Oh, you're on 11?
Now, let's do 11 first, stay in order here. I was, number 1, except for the listed items, which is almost anything for business, a quorum of 3 to conduct a meeting is all well and good, but we really can't do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't vote on anything.
Couldn't vote on anything, so I mean, it's like, how you doing?
You can vote on
So,
anything.
yeah. So with the, and we can't change that because that's in the interlocal agreement. with a supermajority. But what I'm getting at, I was approached by a Lansing person that they don't allow proxies. And we are flexible enough that when someone's gone or we have an issue, we reschedule a meeting. I mean, it's, I would like to see everybody at every meeting. But I brought this up because, like at Summit City Hall, we don't have proxies. We don't allow teleconference, et cetera, which happens on rare occasion. I've done it myself in Colorado. I think it was Thanksgiving. So, I mean, it's something we ought to look at there, if we want to continue to allow that, or, like I said, we are flexible enough, we could change meeting dates to accommodate all five of us.
What's is there the issue with providing a proxy? We've done that only a couple times that I can think of.
Right.
Most of the time, people call in, if they're gonna call in, and they're available, but,
And again, we don't have to model after
right.
city council, but they don't allow proxies or telephoning in to a meeting. That was pointed out. Yeah,
They have they have more folks,
correct.
but, so it's easier to get a voting quorum. That's meaningful.
That big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it the way it is.
Is there a legal issue with having that in there, or were they just saying they're not allowed?
I haven't gone that far to check with Pam. I can before next meeting, but it was,
I don't think that having the proxy in there has hurt our ability to run the business any.
well, I would recommend that on our big meetings, that we have, everyone needs to be present. So if we have to adjust the dates, we adjust the
Like
dates.
budget or.
Budget, maybe hiring,
Yeah.
big stuff.
Being present means via phone could be, or not?
Personally, I prefer everybody here making eye contact with the crowd. You know what I mean, Charlie?
Oh, yeah. You know, I mean,
No, and, you know, just like, and it's happened to me, if I can't make it on the first Monday of budget month, then we can push second or third, same with anybody.
I agree with that.
You know, you're visiting your orphanage in the Philippines again
Yes.
for Father's Day, you probably want us to postpone that meeting.
While we're talking about this, we need to skip over number 17, because that, I don't think we're doing that on proxy anyway. First sentence describes the telecom rule, but then the next sentence, additionally, any absent board member who wishes to provide a proxy vote to another member must have received a copy of the agenda and provide written instructions on a proxy form on how to vote on any or all the issues. I don't think we do that. Now, that requires a little bit of advance notice if you're gonna comply with that.
and
And we have.
And we've done that.
Yeah, as long as we meet the Kansas open meeting laws.
On the proxy vote? Read that sentence on proxy.
Well, yeah, the issue I would have with that is the way our agenda's made up, that we can only have a proxy for what is on the printed agenda,
Right.
where we can't add, oh, by the way, I want to add item for action, hiring a full-time secretary down here.
Right, and you wouldn't have a proxy.
You got
for
two
that.
votes, because you got, say, Jeff's proxy.
Right,
So things like that can't be added. It's only for items on the printed, pre-printed agenda.
that he
Well,
would
you
have
gotta,
had.
you gotta know about it in advance, so you can
Well, we
prepare,
have, what, 2 weeks?
prepare your position and all that. too.
He sends it out a week in advance today.
Right,
And the paper gets it a day, at least a day.
They get it sent them.
But the bylaw says at least a day.
Yeah, but they get it sent them.
Right. So that's not an issue. I think we get a week's notice on that.
But the way I read that is, if I give you or Charlie or Jeff or any of us a proxy, yeah, I have to state on there, vote the way you vote or vote like I want you to vote.
Yes, you do.
Well, the way it's stated in 17, yes.
right,
So the proxy would list all items for action and how that person is voting. And that'd be part of the minutes.
Yeah,
That's
right.
that's a good point.
If,
so, it sounds like
Have
we
we
need
had a
to,
proxy?
Probably need to flush that out.
once. And that being said, Jim, that's why, whether you gave me your proxy and we went by the agenda, that's what you're giving me the proxy vote, whether you agree with me or not, I'm saying, yep, Jim Westmoreland said he wants to vote for this, I have his proxy.
Correct.
Charlie Shoemaker, even though I got your proxy, says, no, I'm gonna vote the other way.
I know, but you gotta vote yes if I wanted to say yes.
Yes, that's what he's saying, it'd be written
Right,
and part of the minutes, how you were voting if you weren't here to give proxy to Lisa.
right.
I think it's okay, but if we do this, we ought to adhere to the letter of the bylaw.
I agree.
Yeah, otherwise there's no sense in having a battle.
Correct. Okay, number 12.
Yeah,
Did you hit some on 12, didn't you?
yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The sixth line, and 3 or more board members cannot engage in any type of interactive communications. Now, interactive normally involves electronic stuff. Are we talking about interactive and verbal interaction personally, or does that include emails?
I think it covers both.
I think it does too.
I think we ought to state
Yeah.
that. I think we ought to clarify that. So,
Any
you
type of
know,
communication.
Any type of communication.
Well, I think specifically though, well, type of communication, but specifically about fire district business. That's the kicker right there.
Yeah,
But
just-
it's,
So the 3 of us can go out and have coffee, but we can't talk about fire district business.
we need to take out the word interactive.
Any
talk
type
about
of
it after interactive
communication. That's
communication.
good, I like that.
right,
Put
good take.
parentheses, electronic or personal,
How about we take interactive out?
or just take that out.
Any communication
There you go.
Yeah, any.
having to do with fire board
Yeah.
business. Yep. I like that. 13, everybody gets a raise this year.
Yes.
Nice.
Double.
But you're gonna pay taxes.
I didn't like the one about last year.
Nothing on nothing.
Okay, 14. We kind of beat this to get 10th when Mike was here, but comes down to we are electronically recording our meetings anyway. But if someone in the audience wishes to do their own, they should ask the board for approval prior to. And we do record all our meetings. I think that was okay. 15? Okay. 16? 17 we talked about. And 18 I think was okay. It's been reworded a couple times.
19 had to do with bond issue.
21.
21 is it says the last sentence, anyone wishing copies of of records will be charged $25 and $1 per page. Is that, should that be and or or?
And
So it's a flat fee of 25, then plus $1 for
the
each.
deal with that, Jim, if I may, was the issues, for example, lawsuits. When an attorney comes in and says, I want all your records for the last 5 years. Great, let me stop fighting a fire and go do all this. So we wanted to make it not restrictive, but how bad do you want it?
I'm not
No,
concerned
that's why it
about,
was done that way.
if I said $100, it wouldn't bother me. I just want to make
Yeah.
sure it wasn't a or.
No, it was
It's
and,
and, yeah.
yep.
Okay.
Do we get sued often?
Thank goodness, no, but we have been named.
Yes.
And that's it. All it takes for an attorney to walk in and say, give me all your records, meeting notes for the last 3 years. I mean, someone's gotta do that and probably sit on that side of the
Yeah,
table.
the chief gets gray hair.
Then 22, as we're doing now, every 2 years, we'll take a look. So it looks to me like we got 3 items to look at, and why don't you send me recommendations? I'll make them to the chief, and then we'll get them for an action item next time.
Sounds good.
Clarification on number 23. Any bylaw except bylaw number may be suspended for any meeting of the board by unanimous vote. I don't, when would we do that? First of all, you gotta do it ahead of time.
I would say that's like in an emergency situation.
What did it say?
Well, it just says, you know, we could suspend, which means that you're not doing away with it completely. That connotates a certain period, suspended for a meeting.
But that was to avoid handcuffing the board on a certain item. If we came to something and say, well, we can't do this because of number 17, then we can make a motion to suspend bylaw 17 for this meeting.
And it takes all
But it
5
takes
minutes.
a unanimous
That's
vote.
another thing that
That's correct.
you gotta have everybody there.
And that's why it's unanimous. If only 4 say yes and 1 says no, then we can't do it.
Okay, I want to thank, is this review we're doing over the next month, or hopefully to be completed by the February meeting? Is it down there on the next update, on that list under Terry's name? Is next update, is that what we're doing now that has 10/22/20
Yeah.
10/24?
Yeah, it's every 2 years, we updated it last time on 10/12, so 2 years was 10/14, well, we did get to it.
Yeah, okay, that's all I
But it
wanted to
says it
know.
has to be done by the first quarter, so we're within the limits.
So
So
the
the
next,
next update will be 2/16.
so we will show some kind of amended
Oh, yeah,
on 2/2015,
Yeah, it'll be amended
and then the next update.
2 of 15.
2015.
15.
And then the next update will be, okay. That's all I got.
Anybody else, anything on bylaws? Hearing none, I would also like to recommend we look at the SOGs. And if everyone has a copy, but to make sure that if we see any updating or things need to be done, it's been done fairly recent, but as we saw in some of our discussions, there is some cleanup needs to be done.
Now, what is SOG again?
The SOGs, and I'll just say specifically having to do with discipline and things that occur in the workplace. But I'm gonna open it to all the SOGs. If you see something you'd like to get modified or changed, that could even be an item for discussion next time. And an item for action meeting after that. That way we've got time to put it together and talk.
But the acronym SOG is
Oh, standard operating guidelines.
Standard Operating
And
Guidelines.
then we've got the BPGs, the best practice guidelines. Also, if you look at the employee manual,
That's what I got.
yeah, and that's what we should look at. But the best practice, everyone should have a copy of that too.
How do we know what the latest copy is? I don't think I've gotten any copy of these since I joined the board.
We might check effective date and issue date on a lot of these, some of the new ones. Computer usage, that's a brand new one. Awards, find one we've changed.
I will send you guys, and it's gonna be lengthy.
Yeah.
I'll send it about 4 emails, 5 emails.
Yeah, I would
Well,
say,
Let me-
Maybe, is there a
30
way,
pages.
maybe you should just send us the dates first, and let us check our records, and then notify you which ones we are out of date that we have.
Oh, sure, now you're trying to make it easy on you instead of me.
I'm gonna make it tougher on you yet, Chief.
Thanks.
Because if you're gonna do that and everybody wants that, then, and you don't wanna do it, then let's go to the expense, go out here to Caraway Printing and just have each one of us a copy made, period. Because what you're asking in 3 different deals, sending it to everybody's house, and then they're gonna put their printer there to working their butt off. And to me, that's not right. You should provide it in a hard copy. And unless somebody's got heartburn with that, they're 30 pages roughly, so I think we ought to just authorize him to go out here and
Either that or put it on a CD and let us review it electronically if we got anything we wanna print off.
Yeah, I'm
and
kind of saying, if you go ahead and send it to me electronically, I can just look and see if what if it's not current.
You know, that's good, guys, but sometimes reading on a computer or CD is better to have it right here, so you can flip back through it, and this, that, and the other, your program.
Okay, who wants it hard copy?
Well, let's add a little more color to that. So do we want a hard copy after we make changes? Because we're gonna create a hard copy, make a whole bunch of changes, and then we're gonna recreate another copy.
And
Well, hopefully, when we have our next meeting, we take our changes and change maybe a half dozen between bylaws and the SOG and the best practice.
Right.
Then we just have those few to recopy.
Great.
All right, I see, yeah.
But if we have, as Charlie wants, an original copy of each, or current copy of each, then we can mark them all up and get where we need, and then, maybe mine's not current, but I think it is, but.
So I started redlining, one that Rick sent me. And what I'll do, I'll probably just finish my little comments, send it to Lisa, have her red mark it as well, you know, just, it shows everybody's changes and ideas and thoughts, and we can just discuss that at the next meeting. So it's, and then the additional changes that Charlie might have, the written ones or whatever, we can all put those together with all the comments and walk them all. So, because some of the language from some of our past meetings that we talked about would be good to make some tweaks and adjustments to titles and other things that make things a little more clear.
Right, and I
Sounds
guess,
good.
and what I was saying is, that you said it better, that the employee manual is one thing you got, the SOG is another thing you should have, and then the last one,
Best practice guidelines.
correct, the practice guidelines, and that's why I said, I think all of us were just like sitting down here tonight, I don't know if you guys got it or not, I'm
Well,
sitting here.
I got all of them, but
But
like I
we
said,
would like to
they're
have a hard
they're
copy.
2 or 3 years old.
Well, I'm saying, what I'm saying is just authorizing to print us up a copy of the others, otherwise, you're gonna be printing them, it's gonna be on your computer, and they're not there in your truck or drinking coffee, wherever you want to go over.
So what's the bottom line, what we gonna do?
I'd like for him to, I'll make a motion that he have a hard copy printed of them and distribute to each board member.
What, take them to a commercial printer to make
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
And that way it takes it off the chief, long to be authorized and.
Okay, that works for me.
Okay.
And, how about we, just
I
wanna
made
pick
a
them up
motion,
here, or
so you want to second?
Say it again?
wanna pick them up here? If the copies are ready, you can let us know.
Yeah, I don't think we need a motion, we can just tell them.
You do it
Yeah,
for
just
money,
do it.
don't you?
No,
It's under the 500,
under 5,000.
Okay.
what his,
Fine.
Now, we're talking about a big stack of paper, we might as well just come here and pick
Your
them up.
5,000?
125.
was certainly under.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay, let's do that then. If you get copies for us.
You want 5 hard copies?
Unless you want one for yourself.
I got one. Well,
We
mine's
got
on the
a-
computer,
we got a
but
current one.
there's one up there for all the minutes.
Okay,
And that'll be 3 different documents, right?
correct.
Great.
And
I
we've
thought
got
they were-
everybody's email, so when you make a correction or anything, this is for information, we're not making any decisions, so that can be dispersed.
Basically, the SOGs are what the board approves, and the BPG's best practice guideline are what the officers approve. And that's basically the working rules for fires and calls and trucks.
It's good
and stuff.
information.
So that's-
If-
you guys
Right,
can have a copy of it.
Right.
If you disseminate it out to everybody, well, I guess you can't do it that way. Sometimes when you disseminate it out to everybody, then you get 5 versions coming back of everybody's edits, versus
Yeah.
make some edits, send it to one person, send it to another person, and by the time everybody has their edits to it, they can see everything, and we bring it in and discuss it. Because if not, you're gonna have, I'll send it to everybody, and then you'll create your own version with your edits, it gets.
Well, let me ask this. And it says we review, especially the bylaws, the other bylaws, every 4 years, and that's what we're doing. And so now we're gonna change these, or make recommendations to change. So, it's not no big hurry, is it, chief, that we gotta do this real quick. Like we can, we have this meeting, people can come to the next meeting, or we could have a study session in between.
Correct.
And then we all sit down and say, okay,
Yeah.
here's mine, and I'm getting, yeah, where you said, yeah, call me back and forth, okay, I see yours,
Yeah.
and that could be confusing, as long as we're not mandated within the next deal, and maybe that's the route we ought to take,
No.
just recommendation.
So you will get 5 hard copies for us. Let us know when they're available, we'll come and get them, and we'll take our time looking them over and make any additions, corrections, things, and then, like Charlie said, we're in not that big a hurry. We could sit down at a study session in
Yeah.
March and really kick them around and go. And bylaw-wise, we're good for 2 years. Everything we talked about tonight, nothing crucial till next year anyway. So, but it would be good to get working on it.
Yeah,
But that way, everybody's got a current copy. Okay? Board member concerns? Jim?
Well, I'd just like to acknowledge the good work that Rick's done in executing the budget. We come out at 2.55% under the program, which amounted to $20,987, which I assume is just rolled over, right? into-
No, that is money that, like payroll tonight,
Oh, okay,
that money that's spent, as of today, we're about 1% under budget.
1%, okay.
We spent it all.
Well, the key is we're under budget, so,
And that's
You
good.
bet.
yeah. So good job.
Yeah, and we did, put money in the bank for next year for, we did have $52,000 left over.
Yeah.
So, actually, we had 72,000, but I have to keep 20,000 to make first payroll,
Right.
so.
And are we seeing a impact on operations with the prices of diesel going down? Has that been better at the pump?
Oh,
or
yeah, we saved, probably $900 today.
Today,
Well, I got,
as of today?
well, yeah, we got the.
Since I don't use diesel, how much is diesel? Well, I heard that diesel.
Diesel hasn't really gone down,
No, it ain't gone
it's
down.
gone down some,
Not like gas.
not like gas, gas is just, diesel has gone down a little bit.
Okay, Lisa? Charlie? Jeff?
Good.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
I know we adjourned.
Motion, do we have a second?
A second. Charlie Shoemaker,
yeah.
Jeff Bud,
Yes.
Jim Westmoreland.
Yes.
Lisa Snodgrass,
Yes.
Dean Milburn.
Yes.
Yeah, that's, I want to make,